Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the first Roundtable, Learning and Development Roundtable in 2022. I don't know where 2021 went, but poof, it's 2022. So welcome Alexander and Diana and Veronica and Vincent and Olga. Yeah, Happy New Year, everyone. I'm delighted that you're here. We'll be having more folks join us, but in the meantime, let's kick it off. We are here. If you're meant to be here for the roundtable, because I know there's lots of different Zoom rooms going around. We are talking about designing a customized learning plan for 2022 that fits you and your team to a T, not a tree, a T, and increases your ROI. So welcome. I can see Abir is just joining us. Welcome. Gladys is coming in, and Heather, welcome. So I don't know about you, but I'm coming to you from Nairobi, and we had torrential rains last night, and our power was out all night, and I'm not sure if it's still on right now, or at least the generator's on. So just to note that I've already done a sound check for folks before. So hopefully you can hear me and see me okay. We are recording. And if you are not coming to us from Nairobi and you happen to hear someone sounding like they are very ill and being hurt, it's just the sound of ibises. So don't worry if you happen to hear a horrible sound. So welcome once again. Gladys is coming in and Veronica. Yay, I've got two Veronicas. Welcome. Vincent. So happy to have you here. You belong here. I'm so glad you carved out time. I know that the world continues to be upside down. So thank you for making time to focus on you, to focus on learning, to focus on being your best selves so you can contribute and do that special juju that only you can do. Welcome to other folks that are coming in. We have Nora. Welcome, Nora. And Gladys are coming in. This is it's meant to be a very supportive environment. So please feel free to give your suggestions, give your ideas, give comments, what's worked for you, and also be open to receiving. Hopefully there'll be lots and lots of learning happening today. Let me know in the chat. These are a couple of things about myself. Welcome, Gladys. I can see you're just coming in. Let me know in the chat which of these 5 things are you interested in knowing a little bit more about me? So let me know in the chat, give me a number. So number 1, learning well. Number 2, process content. Welcome, Paulina, thanks for being here. Number 3, magic wand. Number 4, life lenses. Or number 5, escape. So this is to introduce myself, give you a little bit more background about me if I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you before. So let me know. So Heather, hi Heather. Heather's interested in number 5. Okay, we've got more people coming in. So number 5, escape. So I grew up in a rather tumultuous family. So for me, learning was really an escape. I was the first person in my family to go to university and to get a degree and to go on to get a master's degree. So for me, learning has really been central in my life and has had such a massive impact. Okay, I can see Olga's interested in magic wand. Okay, so I really think that learning it should be the center of all we do. And I think it's like, I consider it a little bit of like a magic wand that it's really, I think the key to social change. We're not going to solve these pressing problems if we don't open ourselves up to learning and development and growing, looking at things in from different perspectives and learning from each other. So for me, learning is a magic wand. Okay, I can see Abir said number 2, process and content. Okay, so this will be the last one. Just a little bit of information about myself. So process and content. So I am absolutely fascinated. Welcome, Wanjiro. I am absolutely fascinated by not only what I learn and what I teach, but also the process of learning. So I'm really, really interested in how we learn, how can we maximize learning, what's the best way, how can we customize learning. Welcome, Ritu, so delighted to have you here. And by the way, I try to make a point to welcome everyone. And if my tongue is not saying your name right, feel free to put a comment in the chat. You can DM me or make a comment. Naomi and Patrick are coming in too. Okay, so I have the pleasure of focusing on 3 different areas that I design and deliver learning around. So one is working better together. And those are team building, focusing on communication and conflict resolution, those kinds of things. Welcome, Patrick. It's just come in. And number 2, I work on digital engagement. So I design and deliver trainings around digital engagement. So tech tools for ease and efficiency, for example. And then I also design and deliver workshops on training trainers. Welcome, Malcolm. It's so nice to have you here. Lovely to have you here. Okay, so your turn. On the count of 3, feel free to unmute and say hello in whatever language you like, and then be sure to mute again. So on the count of 3, say hello, good morning, or good evening, wherever you are in the world, in whatever language you wish. So 1, 2, 3, go. Feel free to unmute.
Good morning.
Hello.
Oh, it's so great. Okay, I can see Gijobo's coming in just a second here. It takes a while for the sound to come on. Welcome, Gijobo. So nice to have you here. Okay, so folks have just said hello. And also I'd love to know, let me know in the chat, how has learning influenced your life? I know that's a big question. So how has learning influenced your life? Welcome, Yoshiki. So nice to have you here. Thank you for showing up.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon. Here in Japan, it's good afternoon. Nice to see you.
Nice to have you here. Nice to have you here, Yoshiki. So let me know in the chat, how has learning influenced your life? So Sandrine said a lot. So if you can, let me know how, Sandrine. When you're, learning makes you more curious. Oh, I love that. I love that. That's great. Okay, how has learning influenced your life? Well, let us know in the chat. Sandrine is saying by adding layers of reflection. Oh, fantastic. That's great. Okay, and some folks are direct messaging me, so I won't say your name. Learning is life, so it's motivation. Oh, that's fantastic. Alexander said to travel and experience different cultures. Oh, for sure. Yeah, one of the best ways I think of learning is traveling. You learn so much about yourself. Nora's saying you can learn something from every person and situation you encounter. Yes, if we're open, right? If we value that. Absolutely, Nora. Heather's saying it pulls me forward and keeps me alive. Oh, nice and juicy. Olga, pretty similar story. Helped me to explore so much outside of my family's typical experience. Nice, Olga. Diana, learning has changed my perspective on a lot of things. I've also learned to unlearn. Oof, so important. Yeah. One of the things on my learning plan this year is DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yeah, absolutely. Learning to unlearn. Malcolm, hi, Malcolm. Helps you grow physically, mentally, and spiritually. Oh, lovely. That's so holistic. And Veronica says to stay curious and open. Great. Well, I hope all of those things are applied today in our workshop. Before, I'm just going to do a little bit of housekeeping. So let me know, how did you learn about today's roundtable? So let me know in the chat. I did a deep dive, I'll talk about this in a minute, into the data you've very kindly given me. I did that over the break. It was fantastic. So on the survey. Okay, so email. Winjiro, did you let me know if you feel comfortable? Was it in the Learning and Development Facebook group or another different Facebook group? Abir, from your work. Abir, let me know, did you, so was that from Yunnan maybe? It was just, you could Twitter. Okay, good, good. Veronica, you saw it on your LinkedIn. Oh, nice, nice. Okay, so there's so many different ways. Yunnan, UN training calendar, UN, great. The Facebook group. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, and Heather, email from you originally, but from the UN training calendar, nice. Oh, the UN broadcast. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. That just helps me know how to share, because I'm always interested in building our community. Okay, so a couple of things about housekeeping. I want to keep this quick because I really want to dive into our content today around learning plans. So I know the world continues to be upside down. If you find yourself thinking, oh, this is too hard, I can't do this, everyone's getting this but me, just think of those as uninvited guests. So make this a helpful, relaxing, playful space for yourself. And again, make sure that you are participating. You took the time to carve out this time. So please ask questions, offer ideas, suggestions, etc. By the way, that's a cover of a book. It's such a great book. What do you do with an idea? Number two, only the Learning and Development Roundtable members get access to the resources. I get asked this all the time. So if you're not a member, please make sure that you sign up. And RSVPing for a meeting is different than becoming a member. Those are two different sign-up processes. So if you do want to get access to the resources, which include, you get all 9+ years of Roundtable resources. You also, this is a screen grab, you get access to the recordings. And how many people in our group here do you know timestamps? Let me know in the chat if you know about time stamping videos. So I upload our recording to a YouTube channel. I send this out to the members, and all of the videos are time stamped, which means that, see the little blue, so I've circled it there, those little blue times. If you click on those, it will advance to the video to that section. Because I know sometimes in a 2-hour roundtable, you might think, oh, I really want to go back to that section, but do I have time to find it? So all of the videos are timestamps. You can easily, quickly find what you're looking for. So again, only the members get access to those resources. Oh, and you also get a workbook with all the resources. So the video, the audio recording, the workbook, etc. And please feel free to grow. If you find value in our time together, please take a moment right now to think of 3 people that you could send this link to. So think of 3 people that you could send our member link to, so we can grow our community together. I would really, really appreciate that. Okay, and mark your calendars. Our next one is February the 17th, which is Tech Tools for Learning. So let me know in the chat, what do you want to learn about Tech Tools for Learning? So today, we're going to talk about your learning plan, but I would love, I have some ideas in mind, but tech tools can really, really, really amp up our learning and make it much easier, much more customized, much more powerful, much more engaging. So let me know, do you have some questions about tech tools and learning? What would you like me to focus on, etc. So feel free to pop that in the chat. Okay, and then know that we alternate our roundtables. So they typically happen Friday mornings, 1 month, East Africa time, and then the next month they'll happen Thursday evening, 5 p.m. East Africa time. But having said that, I spent some time over the break looking at all the data that I have from the roundtable feedback form that people filled in. And I'd love to know, I'll launch this poll right now. I'm thinking about changing the Friday mornings to Thursday mornings so that it's more friendly for the Arab region. So I would love to know, I'll put this up in a poll in just a second. A couple, so I had about 100 responses. Some people said the roundtables weren't long enough, but about 5 people said it would be more helpful if they were 90 minutes. So I'm going to ask you about that in just a minute in a poll. And I'd love to know your ideas around how to make online meetings more interactive, if that would be of interest to have a roundtable on. And I'd also love to know if you currently have a roundtable. So let me just launch this poll here in just a second. Okay, so you should be able to see the poll now. Let me know on your screen. Let me know in the chat. Can you see the poll? You should have it on your screen now. Great, thanks, Alexander. Okay, great. So feel free, there's 4 questions. Feel free to fill those in. How would you be okay if I changed the Friday morning to Thursday morning? That's East Africa time. So it's the same time, but just change the date because that would be easier for the Arab region. How do you feel about shortening the roundtables to 90 minutes? Currently, they're 2 hours. I'd love to hear about that. And then would you like to have a roundtable on how to make online meetings more interactive as our March one? If you have ideas for other topics, please put those in the chat. And you have a learning plan for 2022. I suppose it said 2020. I'm like 2 years behind. Okay. So I can see that 11 folks have entered their feedback. I really appreciate your feedback. Thank you. And I'll show you the responses in just a minute. So we've got 12 of 20 folks. So I'll give you another minute or so. 13.
Leanne, I wanted to ask, what time are the roundtables on Friday?
So Fridays, which is today, so they run from 10 a.m. till noon East Africa time. And my thought was maybe change it to Thursday, the same. So I wouldn't change the time, but I would just change the day of the week. So I had a couple of people in the feedback suggest that we change it to Thursday because to be more friendly for the Arab region. For people that may not know, Friday is a holiday in the Arab region. So, okay, anyone that were 13, 14, 15, great, of 19 folks, okay. 16. And again, if you have ideas, I'm always open to other ideas for topics related to working better together, related to training trainers, related to digital engagement, etc. Okay, so I think I'll end that in just a couple seconds. Almost everyone's participated, so thank you so much. Okay, and here is your, you should be able to see the results now. If you are on Zoom and you are launching polls, I always like to do screen grabs of them because they give you the data, but it's the raw data, not nicely collated like this. Okay, so there's a lot of, okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing that now and let's continue. Okay, I want to say a big thank you to those of you who did fill in the feedback form. And I had taken some time to, sorry, Wenju, was that you that unmuted? Just let me know if I answered your question there. Okay, yeah, so it's Fridays 10 to 12 currently, and Thursdays 5 to 7, and those are East Africa. Okay, Benedict's coming in. And Veronica said, example of tech tools free of charge to facilitate peer. Oh, nice. Okay, good, Veronica. Yeah, absolutely. Almost 99% of the tools that I share are free. So, okay, I want to say thank you. I took such a deep dive into all the survey feedback. It was so helpful. And at the end of the survey, which right here, if you haven't filled in the survey, I'm going to do this once a month now. I I do this for you. I do this to build our community and strengthen learning and development. And I do really, really appreciate when people give me feedback. So know that when you fill in the survey, you get a chance to win a Life Lenses assessment. So I'm going to announce the winners once a month from now on. And these, I think, Sandrine, are you on the call? Yes, Sandrine, you won. So, and I don't know if
Yes, I
Heather's...
was good.
Oh, and Heather, you're here. Heather, you won. And Lindsay, I don't see Lindsay. Yeah, so you won a free Life Lenses assessment. So watch, I'll probably send that out on Monday. So watch for that email and I'll give you a code. I'll give you a link to explain what Life Lenses is.
Fantastic, thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm so grateful for folks. You're welcome to, Heather. I'm just really grateful for your feedback. Okay, this is a little bit different. I also have, at the risk of surveying you out, I'm going to give you another monthly survey. And this is not specifically on the roundtable. This is all about learning per se. So I'm building a brand new product. I'm so excited. It's going to take me a while to launch, but you folks are the experts. So I'm kind of picking your brain about different things. So this will be a different survey questions each month. And again, if you fill it out, you get a chance to win a Life Lenses assessment. So I put that link in the chat there. Okay, and we're just about to the end of our housekeeping, because again, I want to dive into what you came here for. Also, you may or may not know, if you're a UN staff, I give other workshops, and I thought I haven't been sharing that here on the roundtable, but if you're interested, and if you're not a UN staff and you want me to give one of these for your workshop, for your organization, just contact me. So I will be teaching tips and tools to increase your work-life balance during COVID. On the dates on the screen there, February 23rd and 24th, May 11th and 12th, and also how to give effective online engaging presentations. So if you're interested in any of those and you're UN staff, contact UNON, the Staff Training and Development Unit, or look at the training calendar. And if you're not UN staff and you're interested in me giving a workshop on those topics, email me. Okay, so quick recap here. Please participate, sign up to be a member if you're not already. Please help our community grow by sharing those, sharing the invitation to become a member. If you are a UN staff, I don't think I mentioned this, you need to fill in the attendance sheet. I'll give you that link at the end of today. Mark your calendars for all the upcoming ones. They're all on the website too, so you can get those, and the 2 surveys. Okay, so any questions before we jump into learning plans? Let me know, any questions, you can put them in the chat there. Okay, let's dive in then. Okay, so today we are going to talk about what a learning plan is, why it's important. I'm going to give you a link to a worksheet that you can fill in as we go along. So just to look at realistic expectations, you probably won't fill in the entire work plan by the end of our time together, but you should make a pretty good dent in it. And you have this worksheet that you can then continue to work on, and feel free to share the worksheet with friends and colleagues if that's helpful. We're going to talk about the letter I, which is one of the most important components of the learning plan. You're going to learn about SAKES to help you really streamline and get really detailed in your learning plan, and then how to make it fit so you're not bending yourself into a pretzel, and how to do all this kind of in a fun, engaging way. And again, if you are a UN staff, this counts towards your annual UN mandated training. Hi, Theo, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. Okay, so I have a question for you. How many do you see? So feel free to answer that question as we dive into our introduction to the learning plan. Feel free to put your answer in the chat. How many do you see? Let me know in the chat. That's a great question, Nora. I'm going to let you answer that. That's a really great question. Okay, so Sandrine says 12. Heather says, I feel this is a trick question. Forgot Veronica says 5. Okay, great. How many do you see? Yoshiki says 5, Abir says 3, Vincent says 4, Veronica says 5. Okay. Oh, Nora's really, Nora, this is great. Nora says 5 fingers, 1 sheet, several shapes, 1 gap. Oh, I love the kind of broadness of several shapes. That's great. Okay, brilliant. Well, I think one of the things about learning plans is that they help lead us to more critical thinking, more customized learning, opening. Folks talked about this in the chat at the beginning, really opening up our minds and broadening our perspectives. I love how Nora counted the sheet. You know, when people are counting, are you counting the lines? Did you count my fingers? Did you count my fingernails? Did you count the tiny little text at the bottom? Did you count my logo? Did you count the letters? There's lots and lots of different ways to, by the way, welcome Abir, thanks for coming. Lovely to have you here. There's also something hidden in here, which I will, with members, I'll share the PowerPoint, all those kinds of things, and I'll see if you can, actually we'll make a little contest of it. I'll give another free Life Lenses after that. The first person to email me with there's something hidden in here will win a Life Lenses. So learning plans are all about making sure that our learning is strategic, on track, customized, you know, really making good use of our time. So let me know, do you have a learning plan? Have you, you know, why or why not? Let me just type this in. Just typing the question in the. So Sandrine does. So Sandrine, let me know like why. So Nora's is not yet for this year. Okay. Let me know. Do you have one? Olga says, I don't have any, but you want to have one. Great. Okay. And what would be your reasons for having a learning plan or not having a learning plan? Heather says, no, I never even thought of it. And I'm shocked that I didn't. Okay. Okay. Avir, not now. Okay. Like why you must be curious about learning plans because you're here. I'm just making a note about my Easter egg because, oh, by the way, an Easter egg is something that's hidden in learning materials. So I'm just writing that down. So I'll send it out to the members and hey folks, the power just went down. So it just takes a second to kick over to the generator. Let me just bring up the screen here. Okay, let me know in the chat. Can you hear me okay again? Make sure I'm spotlighted. Okay, thanks. Veronica, I love that you asked. That's great learning, right? Is this just me or is this happening for everyone? Thank you for doing that. Okay, so we're talking about learning plans. What would, oh, we got some folks in the, hang on here, waiting room. Welcome, Ruta and Luam. Your name is so close to my oldest son. Oh, I don't know. I don't think I know. I'm not sure if I know you, but oh, I feel very close to you. Okay. So we're talking about learning plans and what makes it hard or easy, like why would you have one or why would you not have one? Feel free to put those comments in the chat. So what would make it easy to have a learning plan, hard to have a learning plan, etc. By the way, folks can hear me okay? Again, can you see?
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay. Okay. Okay, well then let me ask you, when it comes to what and how you learn, what's working for you and what's not working for you? So when it comes to overall learning, like let's forget about the plan for now. What's working, what's not working? Let me know in the chat. So for me, for an example, for me, using tech tools for my learning has been a game changer. It has made learning so much easier and strategic and much more of a focus. Sandrine, it could include as a format. Yeah, it could include anything. So something that might help you learn as an example is tech tools. Something that maybe gets in your way of learning is technology. What do you think? So when you think about, so there must have been some kind of need when you signed up for this this workshop. So what is that need around a learning plan? Okay, so someone direct messaged me and said, what works best for me is going in small steps, but consistently. By the way, if you, I should have said this before, if you don't want me to say your name when I'm reading out the comments, because remember, this is recorded. So to future selves that are watching this, hello, feel free to direct message me and I won't say your name. Veronica saying, I learn the best from experiencing. Great, I love that you know that, Veronica. You're steps ahead when you know the best way to learn for yourself. Sandrine said, I would gain in engaging more in technologies to optimize learning. Oof, that's next month's roundtable. Luam says, micro-learning, learning in small doses. It's been such a great trend in the last few years. That's great. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so let's get going on the learning plan then. So essentially, oh, and Olga's saying, Alexander's saying the need is for self-development and making one more effective at work and beyond. Alexander, I love that you know what you need. That's so important with the learning plan, right? You can't learn strategically and proactively if you don't know what it is you want to learn and why. Yeah. And Olga's saying, I like having a long-term engagement with a subject. It helps to reflect on what I learned in the past. Oh, nice. So kind of the other spectrum of that micro learning, right? So micro learning is tiny, tiny, tiny bits. And Olga's saying, prefers something over the longer term. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to give you a link to the learning plan worksheet. I'm just putting this in the chat here. And this is an editable worksheet. So I'm going to explain half of the components of it. We'll go through half of them, and then I'll put you into a small group so that you can start working on it in a small group. Then I'll go through the next half, the final half, the rest of the components, and then you'll get some time to work in a small group. If your blood pressure just skyrocketed because you don't like small group work, that's okay. Just don't accept the invitation when it pops up on your screen. So if you prefer to do work just on your own, that's fine too. Although I have to say, in the Roundtable feedback survey, the data, a lot of people mentioned the small group work. Okay, so this is what the worksheet looks like. So you should have that link and be able to download it. All those little gray areas are where you can write on it. So there's 2 pages. In the future, if you don't like writing online, you can print it off and you can fill it in, of course. It's all up to you. Okay, so the first part we're going to talk about is your vision. Okay, so it's this part of the learning plan, and I'm going to invite you. Let me know. Our generator kicked on because the power went up. Can you hear that rumbling in the background? Let me know. Can you hear any rumbling, or is it? You can't. Oh, good. Okay, good. Because I'm going to invite you to do a guided visualization. So I'm just going to take a couple of minutes and I'm going to put some music on here. So just relax and hang on here. Okay, so I'm going to play just some quiet music, and I'm going to talk you through a visualization here. Okay, so let me know. Can you hear my voice okay? Oops. You know, in the chat. Oh, the PDF is not editable for you. Nora, I'm so sorry. I honestly have no clue why that is. I tested. I apologize. If you have some paper and pen, or you can just write the headings and fill them in. Oh, sorry, folks. But I apologize. I honestly don't know. Okay, so I invite you to close your eyes, and if you are comfortable, before you let your gaze often up or look down, I invite you to take a couple of deep breaths in and out. In and take a deep breath out. And focus on how your body's feeling. Tight spots or spots that tension. Okay, so imagine you are in a beautiful forest. Beautiful forest. It's comfortable. The temperature is just perfect. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. You're walking along a beautifully wooded path. There's a little river off to the right-hand side of you. And as you're walking forward, you see a beautiful old stone bridge. It's covered in moss and it goes over this babbling river. It's so peaceful. It's so relaxing. And you walk towards this bridge and you take a step up onto the bridge, feeling relaxed and focused and safe and healthy. And as you walk across this bridge on the other side of this beautiful little river, it's clear water, it's just gorgeous. You see this old box. It looks beautiful. It's intricately carved and it has a lid on it. And as you walk towards this box, you bend down and you pick it up and you open the lid, and inside is this beautiful scroll. And it's a message to you. And the first message is actually a question. And the question says, how would you like to feel 10 minutes from now? How would you like to feel about your learning specifically 10 minutes from now? And as you think about that, your answer fills your mind. You have a clear picture of how you'd like to feel about your learning 10 minutes from now. And then you look down the scroll, and the second question is, how would you like to feel about your learning 10 months from now? So almost a year from now. How would you like to feel about your learning? 10 months in the future. You can picture it, you can see it, you can taste it, you can feel it. You have a very clear vision of your learning 10 months in the future. And now the third and final question is, how would you like to feel about your learning 10 years from now? So in 2032, I do math right, 2032. You can see it, it's clear. How would you like to feel about your learning 10 years from now? And as that image comes to your mind, crystal clear, I'd invite you to bring your attention back to the room. You can feel yourself sitting on your chair or wherever you find yourself. You bring your attention back to our round table. And when you're ready, take a couple of deep breaths and open your eyes if they're closed, or refocus on the screen. And let me know in the chat a couple of words to describe that experience. So could you clearly see your vision of learning 10 minutes, 10 months, and 10 years from now? Let me know in the chat. So that's a bit of a amuse-bouche, like a bit of a taster for your vision. And again, you'll have some time in small groups to work on this. And by the way, I wanted to thank Veronica. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I did not say you had to download it. Yeah, sorry, that was my bad. Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah. Veronica is very relaxing. 10 years was the hardest one. Okay. Yeah, you can always use 5 years or just keep it at 10 months, whatever works best. Okay. Okay, so we're going to move forward to the next section. Again, the process is I'll explain the first couple of sections of the sheet. You'll have some time to actually work on them in small groups, and then we'll reconvene for the second. While we do that, know the second page has this large section for doodling, for notes, for anything that doesn't fit in the other sections. So you can also use that. Okay, so welcome, Tanya. Thank you for joining us. So the learning plans, Tanya, maybe can someone quickly paste that link to the learning plan in the chat? We're working on, off of a worksheet. So the first thing, learning plans help you clarify what your vision is. They also help you make you strategic and proactive with your goals. So I'm going to show you just really quickly what it should not look like. So hopefully this will give you a little chuckle here. So let me know in the chat, can you see a video screen here? It should be black. I'm going to start playing. It's a very short clip. It's like 2 minutes. Great. Thanks, Nora. And let me know in the chat if you can hear it too. So here we go.
Whoa, that's not good.
Oh, I don't need this. I'm already late.
Somebody will come. Anybody out there?
Do you have a phone?
No. Sorry. Somebody! Hello? There are 2 people stuck on an escalator and we need help. Now, would somebody please do something?
Help!
I don't believe this. You gotta be kidding me.
I'm gonna cry.
Well, there's not enough left to do, is there?
Okay, I'm going to assume that you could see it and hear it okay, because no one was saying otherwise. How do you think it ends? Do you think they make it off the escalator? Oh, hang on here. Just switching screens here. Oh, I love that, Sandrine. They sit and have a laugh. Yeah, Veronica. Yeah, they actually never get off the escalator. So this is a very exacerbated, exaggerated example of someone not being strategic or proactive. But this is another way for you to think about, to really take charge of your learning, really make it fit you, and be very strategic, really have some thoughtful ideas around, and by the way, it's great when a colleague or a friend says, hey, I just read this fantastic book, you should read it. Those kinds of organic, iterative types of learning are fantastic. And that content may or may not relate to what is good for you to learn. Yes, Nora, they're not very adaptive at all. And also they're very reliant on other people, right? They're not taking charge. So when you have your time in some small groups, think about these 2 sections, right? What are your goals for learning, right? What are your goals for learning? So for me this year, I really want to, for the entire year, I really want to focus on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And for the starting right now, I'm focused on Trello, learning how to use Trello better, and power ups like Crumble, and getting all of those things to really, really work together. And then from that, you'll also be able to think about what are the if those are your learning goals, what are the skills and knowledge that you need to reach those goals? Okay, also, when you are thinking about your goals, I really encourage you to think about your, hang on here, pardon me. Patrick's joining us. I really encourage you to include some stretch goals. So I loved the, sorry, I'm just trying to put some information in the chat here. What the very last book I read, so I track all the books that I read. On the very last one, I actually found that my dear friend Jackson, he is the owner of the only Maasai owned camp in the Mara. The Smarter, Better, Faster. Does anyone know Charles Duhigg? I don't know if that's how you say his last name. He wrote The Power of Habit. He's a New York Times bestselling author. Love, 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 love this book. And I added it to this workshop because he talked about, here, I'll put this, probably people have heard of SMART goals, I'm guessing, to make things specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. He talks about this piece of research where this one team was not doing very well, and they were the whole organization was using SMART goals, but for whatever reason, this team wasn't doing very well. And so they sent some researchers down to see what was going on. And they loved the SMART goals so much that the example that sticks with me is this woman would order some paper for the photocopier and fill out a SMART goal sheet for that. Right. So it wasn't a strategic goal. It wasn't a stretch goal. She just really, really loved filling in those SMART goal worksheets, but the goals, it wasn't strategic, right? So really, really, really think about how can you include some stretch goals. Any examples in the chat? What's an example of a stretch goal? Something that you're, it's going to be tough. For me, I want to learn French. I'm Canadian and I'm not bilingual, so that's going to be a tough one. I have some French. But I need to get better at French. So that's going to be tough. That's going to be a stretch goal for me. Any other examples in the chat? What might a stretch goal be that you are comfortable? So Sandrine is saying experiment. Say more, Sandrine. I'm not sure what you mean. While you're thinking about that, I'm reading another book on, I always forget the name. What do you call atomic, subatomic research? It's called, what is that called? Oh, Dare to Experiment. Nice, Sandrine. Yeah. In this book, I don't think I have it handy. Do I have it? Oh, hang on. No, I don't have it handy. Help me, if anyone in the group knows. Oh, particle physics, quantum physics. It's quantum physics. Thank you, Nora. So I'm reading this book on quantum physics, which is a tough go. But one of the things they talk about, and how that relates to learning, one of the things they talk about is doing mystic experiments. So for me, I have a sheet to track things for what helps me dive in and get super specific and strategic and long-term oriented. If I do a little watercolor first, if I do some meditation or yoga, what's the optimal time for me to set aside? I've learned that 2 hours is okay, but 3 hours is better for doing strategic work. So all of those kinds of things, right? When you're stretching, you're experimenting, all those kinds of things. Okay, also learning plans help you realize that you're not alone. So you might feel like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders these days, and stress is, at an all-time high. You can also identify key people, right? Key people. So who are the folks that can help you, or can you create an accountability group? Do people know about Yoga with Adrienne, the YouTube channel Yoga with Adrienne? Let me know in the chat. This has been, so Nora says, yeah, Veronica, yes. So I'm a newbie. I just discovered this. I'm like, where have you been all my life? Because I know yoga's good for me, but it's just really, I just have blocks about doing it. So yoga, and by the way, I'm not pitching yoga for Adrienne. I'm explaining my process in case you can find something similar. So Yoga with Adrienne is a free channel. She has over 10 million subscribers, and there's a 30-day program. Is anyone doing a 30-day program right now? And the key for me is it's only about 25 minutes. Oh, thanks, Abir. Abir is needing to go. Abir, if you are a member, you can get access to all of the resources after the meeting. So if you want to do that, please do. So this 30-day program, it's only about 25 minutes of yoga every day. So I've realized I've tripled. So instead of doing 1 hour of yoga a week, which is making me like, I just didn't like it. I do half an hour almost every day. Thanks, Vincent. Okay, thank you. So think about who are some key people that can help you with your learning. For example, has anyone heard of Lunch Club? Has anyone signed up for Lunch Club? Let me know in the chat. Sanjay says no. So Lunch Club, oh my goodness, it's so fantastic. It's like a live LinkedIn. So you sign up, you create a profile, and Oh, Diana, you signed up. Oh, great. Let me know in the chat if you've met with anyone, Diana. And then what they do is they pair you up with people to have a real face-to-face online meeting. And you can do one a month, you can do 5 a day, you can do however many you want. And so I try to do one a week. And you meet really, really interesting people. So for example, if you want to learn about, let me know in the chat, what's a subject that you want to learn about this week or this year? What's a topic you want to learn about? Let me know in the chat. What's a subject that you want to learn about this year? Partnership building. So Sandrine, you could, if you wanted to, if this is a format that works for you, you could go onto Lunch Club and you could, Veronica's saying Africa, you could create, because there's a place for to put in your profile on Lunch Club what you want to learn about, what you want to connect over. So you could put that in there and then they'll connect you with people that have that, that to offer. So it's a great platform and it's growing like leaps and bounds. Okay, so key people is another one. Oh, stakeholder engagement. Yeah, Patrick, I'm sure you could find people on Lunch Club. And by the way, that's one example, one format that may or may not work for you, right? That may or may not work. You know, finding a YouTube channel. We'll get into those types later, like the types of learning. That's another section. But for now, think about the, you know, the key people, people that can help you with your learning. Hi, Janet, welcome. Okay, learning plans can also support your resilience, your agility, your flexibility. So if you, what I'm talking about now is the habits and systems part of the worksheet. So I mentioned this earlier, I'm really trying to experiment with how can I do, sometimes it's hard for me to get into big picture strategic planning for my business. So I'm doing some really fun experiments about how to get into that kind of zone of thinking better. So I'm paying a lot of attention to my habits and my systems. And this, by the way, next month, this is one part where tech tools can help, right? Tech tools for learning. If you have some systems to take the load off and help you with your learning. Does anyone have an example of a habit or a system that you use? What's an example of a habit or a system? While you're thinking about that, I'll give you another one. So 1SE, does anyone use this app? 1SE, it's called 1 second every day. And what it does is it tracks things using pictures. So you upload one picture every day to this app, and then it makes a movie out of it. So last year, my goal, one of my learning goals, was all around stuff and how to get rid of clutter. So I watched a bunch of videos and all of this, learned a lot about getting rid of clutter. And I realized that that tracking was really helpful for me. So I took a picture. My goal was to get rid of 3 things every day, all of last year. And I'm very proud to say I did. And what really, really helped was the habit of taking a picture of those 3 things and then uploading it to 1SE. So I have this whole little movie of all the things that I cleared clutter from. Any other examples of systems or habits? Heather, time management. Yes, Pomodoro, absolutely. So I now have 2 years of tracking my time. So I can say exactly how I spent my work time in 2020 and 2021. Super interesting data to have. So I track my time for sure. And Pomodoro is another time tracking. Anna's saying, I don't know if it has a specific name, but I'd like to improve my skills on having difficult conversations. Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's some really great books on that. I did a course, I created a course for UNSOS, the Somali peacekeeping group, around negotiation and conflict resolution. And yeah, there's definitely tons of resources out there on Anna, absolutely. Nora saying, I use the Pomodoro technique if I struggle to focus. Great, nice. Okay, so I would like to invite you to spend some time in a small group. Again, I really encourage you because there's so many cool people in our community. So if you're comfortable to get into a small group, I'd really love for that to happen. But if you know your learning style and you'd rather do it on your own, then just don't accept the invitation when it pops up on your screen in a minute. So I am going to copy these instructions into the chat. So if it's helpful for you, to copy those so you have them handy, because you won't necessarily be able to see this chat when you're in your small group. So let me just do a quick time check here. Okay, so I'm going to give you like 10 minutes in your small group. And let's really manage our expectations, right? You're not going to have a chance to fill in all of these first 5 things on your spreadsheet. Just pick one that you want to talk about, or maybe 2. Okay, so you just have about 10 minutes. So in a moment, I'll divide you into small groups. But before I do that, is there any questions? Do you have any questions about the task? Okay, so you're going to introduce yourself and then pick 1 or 2 of those components that you want to talk about. It can be vision, it can be goals. Make sure you include a stretch goal, skills and knowledge, or key people. Anna, I can see that you're unmuted. Did you have a question? Oh, no, okay. You were testing me to make sure I was paying attention. Okay, so here we go. So you've got about 10 minutes. I'll share those instructions. I'll do a message, but again, you may want to copy them for yourself. Okay, we'll see you back in 10 minutes. The invitation will pop up on your screen and you need to accept that, please. Welcome back, everyone. How was your small group work? What did you focus on? Let me know. How did the small group work go? Which of the sections did you pick? Were you working on the vision, goals, skills and knowledge, key people, systems or habits? Okay, Heather, habits and systems. Nice. Makes all the difference in the world when you've got good learning habits and good systems. Sandrine, goals. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, you could end up anywhere if you don't have specific goals. Yeah, and remember to include some stretch goals. Anna, skills and knowledge. Sandrine, key people. Nice. Oh, I love how you've got a bit of a mix in there. Great. Okay, I am going to invite you to take a break. We're at that point in time. So if I can invite you to come back, is 10 minutes good? What do you think? 10-minute break? And I can see a DM. No, oh, I'm sorry about someone's having problems with power and Wi-Fi. I know our generator is going off and on. Remember, if you're a member, you get access to the time-stamped video, so you can go back to any portion you want. Just make sure that you're signed up to be a member if that's of interest. Okay, break time. Are you folks ready for a break? Just let me know in the chat. Are you ready for a break? Yeah. I'm going to assume that's yes. Okay, we got some yes. Okay, great. So stretch, hug a kid, hug a cat, hug a tree, I don't know. And we'll be back and ready to go in 10 minutes. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you in 10 minutes. Welcome back, everyone, from your break. I hope you got a stretch. Our power is continuing to be wonky here, but we're back. Let me know in the chat, what did you do for your break? I got up, I stretched, I looked at a couple emails, etc. We have done the first half of the roughly half of the worksheet. So let's continue on with the second half. You're doing great. I'm so glad you're here. You carved out this time, and you're I mean, I'm really hoping that the benefits that you'll get out of creating a learning plan, we'll have to talk about it again this time next year, will be like 100-fold. Okay, so focusing on a learning plan can really help you stay motivated. I will share this link with you in the chat. By the way, just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me and see me okay. I want to make sure that the audio, thanks Heather. Okay, so I have shared a link with you in the chat, which is all about, this is research from the National Geographic, and it's a survey I put together. You can share it with as many people as you'd like, and it really looks at trying to identify what motivates you, because this can really help you with your learning plan. So you can focus on this part of the learning plan. So what's important to you about your learning? In other words, what motivates you, right? If you can keep that at the top of your brain, that will help you enact or carry out your learning plan. Because it's one thing to get it down onto the worksheet, it's a whole other thing to do it. So really try to articulate. We'll have another small group time shortly. Really try to articulate, why is this important to you? Why are you doing this? And this motivation survey can be a part of that if you like. Okay, on to the letter I. This is kind of my favorite, well, one of my favorite parts about the learning plan. So I really think that learning plans should be foundational for personal and professional development, right? Because they can help you be so strategic and really create something that fits you specifically. So that brings us to the letter I, which is this section here. And I've made it a little bit bigger here. But before we get into this, I really want to give you a caveat, because sometimes people think, oh, Leanne, it's too individual focused. So you can certainly fill this learning plan out for yourself as an individual. Absolutely terrific, wonderful, great. You can also fill it out on behalf of your team or on behalf of a particular project or initiative that you're working on. You can fill it out on behalf of your community. Right. Hi, Paulina, welcome back. So you can really have different kind of lenses on this learning plan. So the letter I, even though, it looks at, you might think me as an individual, it's a way to kind of craft these next three parts that I am going to tell you about. Before I do that though, have you heard about the letter T in kind of learning and development, or like human resource management? Have you heard about the letter T? So you take the bottom off the I. This is what I mean about the letter T. This is kind of common. It's kind of a well-known, for some people, well-known part of T-shape. Exactly, Veronica. So what I did, I thought, I don't quite think that's enough. So I added the bottom bar and turned the T into an I. Okay, so what the heck am I talking about? So I'm talking about three different pieces. So the first part here is the broad part of the letter I. And remember that the I can be you as an individual, it can be a team, it can be a project. So what are some general broad skills and knowledge that you need to know based on your area, your agency, whatever sector you're in? So you don't need a deep knowledge in these areas, but you need some broad knowledge. Oh, someone's saying I'm muted. Can other people hear me? I'm showing my mic is on. Oh, Paulina can hear me. Patrick, maybe Patrick, turn up your volume there. Okay.
I hear you.
Okay, good. And thank you for everyone for your patience and tenacity with technology, like on top of everything else, right? It's been a bit of a wonky day. Okay, so think about that top band of the I and give me an example of something that you might need to know for your job, for your sector, but you don't have to be an expert in this. What would an example of that be? while you're thinking about that, for me, it would be accounting, right? So I run my own business. I need to know how to invoice and keep track of, what I'm spending and what I'm bringing in, but I don't have to be a professional accountant, right? So that's a broad skill that I need. Anyone else have an example for your particular area? You don't have to be an expert, but you have to know a little bit about this topic. And you can look back on the other parts of the learning plan, like your goals and your skills and your knowledge, etc., to try to parse some of those out. So we're getting more and more specific to that broad part of the eye. So what things belong on that top part of the eye? So Sandrine is saying fund management. Yeah. Now, for some of you, you might, if you're a professional fundraiser, that's something you need to be an expert in. But for other people, like Sandrine has mentioned, that's something that she needs to know a little bit about. Okay, so that's a great example. Diana's saying customer care and PR. Yeah, exactly, right? SEO, digital marketing, right? It could be anything. And by the way, depending on who you are and what you do, the examples we give might be in the next part. So what do I mean by the next part? The next part are the things that you need to know for your job, for your sector, for your project, whatever lens you're using this for. You need to have very deep expertise in these. It's not something you need to know a little bit about. It's something that's very core, very central to your job. So what would an example of that be for you? For me, it's learning and development, right? For me, it's teaching online, right? I need to know, be a very deep expert in those things if I'm going to put myself out there, right? Those are two examples. What's something, if you think about your goals, you've started to think about those in the previous sections, what are some things that you need to know a lot about? You need to be maybe not an expert, but you need to know quite a bit about this particular topic. Any examples? And by the way, this is a helpful exercise to tease out those two things. Because sometimes we put a lot of time and effort into something that actually we just need to know a little bit about. Sandrine is saying the global environment. Yeah, great example, right? Great example. And you probably can break that out to be even more specific. Any other examples from folks? As you do. Heather's saying climate finance. Oh, that is so specific. That's great. I love that, right? That's very clear. And for other people, that might just be at the top of the eye. Patrick is saying contract negotiations. Great. Yeah. So knowing the difference between when I look forward, in this case, to 2022, these are the broad skills I need to brush up on. I don't have to be an expert. And then the second, the vertical part of the eye, these are the things I need to really know a lot about. And then the third part, and this is the part that I've added to the T model, so I made the T into an I, is, Gidobo is saying policy development. Gidobo, that might be your first initial and your last name, so apologies for your screen name if I'm saying that wrong. So the third part is based on being human. So it doesn't matter if you're a climate change expert or if you do digital marketing or if you're an accountant, it doesn't matter like what your job is. What are the things that you need to have a broad skill set around because you're human and you interact with other human beings? So some examples of that, I think, are what I call the 7 C's. I'll put this in the chat. So I think everyone, unless you're a hermit living in a cave and you don't see anyone, you don't interact with anyone, I think all human beings need to have some broad general knowledge around communication, how do you resolve conflict, some creativity skills, managing change, collaboration, culture, celebration, and critical thinking. And if you want to, you can use that link in the chat there to explore some of those topics. Okay. Okay, so let's go on to, oh, Irene is joining us. Let's go on to another section. And, oh, hang on here, let me just erase the annotation. Hi, Irene, welcome, welcome, welcome. The next part of the learning plan is you've got all, you've worked on your vision and your goals and your skills and what's going to motivate you and some key people and some systems. And you've gotten quite detailed around those broad things you need to know based on your job, the broad things you need to learn around skills for being human, and then those very deep skills. The next part is how are you going to learn those things? What are the custom fit ways that you like to learn? So I did this workshop last year in the Roundtable, and these are some examples here. So this is an editable worksheet. I'll give you this in the chat here. And again, this will be in the workbook. Everything is beautifully put together. Well, beautiful in my mind. And if you're a member, you'll get that workbook and all the recordings and such. So maybe you want to go on a virtual field trip. Maybe you want to do micro learning. Maybe there's an app that can help you. I mentioned that One SE app. That was a massive help to me. So the important part here is that you're picking things that work for you. And if you go down this list, if you click on the link and look at the list, I know it's a little bit small on the screen here, there'll probably be some that you go, ooh, that's not how I like to learn. And that's important to pay attention to. So you don't want to go down that path. And then the ones that you go, if you're social, lunch club might be a really good, app program for you that I mentioned earlier. So pay some attention to how you like to learn. And then you can put all those things together into a very customized plan for yourself. Okay, the last one here is our SAKES, the SAKES. And the SAKES, I did a training for the UN many years ago, and it was supposed to be a competency-based training. And the participants didn't like that term competency. They said, Leanne, if we're not competent, does that mean that we're incompetent? I'm like, good boy. So based out of that, I developed the SAKES. And the SAKES stand for skills, attitudes, experience, and knowledge. So this is another way that you can break down things. So if we use the, Heather, I'll pick climate finance. So are there particular skills that you need to develop in that area this year? What do you want to do as a result of that learning around climate finance? Your attitude, that's how do you connect it to your vision, your mission, your values, right? How do you motivate yourself? How do you make it have meaning in your life? The K is knowledge. So that's the theory, the background, the research, the information, right? And then the experience piece, that's the application. How can you bring that into your life? It's one thing, say you go to a conference or say you take a workshop like this online. How do you actually use that learning? How do you bring it into your life after the workshop or such and use it? Okay, and that, my friends, is all of the parts of the learning plan. So let me know. I'm happy to put you into small groups again to do the last four pieces, which are talk about the motivation or the letter I, your learning preferences or the SAKES, or we can have a Q&A. So what's your preference? I'm happy to do you want to do keep it in large group, or do you want to do another small group? Let me know in the chat. Super happy to do the will of the group. So let me know, small group, or do you have questions that you haven't had a chance to? Let me know, what would you like? After this piece, then we'll summarize and do a couple of other things to wrap up before we wrap up today. So Alexander, Anna, Diana, Heather, Loam, Nora, Olga, Patrick, Paulina, Sandrine, Tanya, Veronica, let me know. Do you want to go back into small groups or do you want to stay in the large group? If I don't hear anything, I'll put you back into small groups. So any preference? Okay, we've got one of each. Sandrine says small groups. Anna says I like the large group. What I can do is I can put you into small groups. Veronica, I want to try to fill in the motivation survey. Okay, both. Okay, let's try to please everyone. What I will do is I'll put you into small groups. If you would rather stay in the large group, then just stay in the large group and we can chat. And if you want to do something on your own, like Veronica's curious about the motivation survey, feel free to do that. So do what works for you. Take charge of your learning. Do your preferred way of learning. Okay, so again, I'm going to put you into small groups right now. I'll stop the recording. If you want to stay in the large group and just hang out and chat about stuff, feel free to do that. Okay, if you do want to go into small groups, you need to accept the invitation that is going to appear on your screen in just a second. Welcome back, friends. We just are back. For those of you watching in the future, folks were working on the second half and final half of the learning plan worksheet. So let me know in the chat, how did it go? What did you focus on? Did you focus on motivation, the letter I, your learning preferences, or digging into the details with your stakes? Let me know in the chat. What did you focus on? What really drew you? Oh, someone's DMing me. You're so welcome. For those, someone is needing to leave, so I'll just, so Alexander's saying motivation and learning preferences. I'm just going to share some links for those that are needing to go. These are all the, just put these in the chat here so you have them. Okay, so we had, so Alexander was spoken on motivation, learning preferences. So I will send to the members, I'll send that learning preference worksheet. I'll send the motivation survey. I'll also send a blog post that gives you a bit more information on that motivation piece. Nora's saying, applying learn things as soon as possible, tech things in a way that learners can apply the materials easily. Nice. Patrick focused on learning preferences. Great. Okay, well, friends, you are rock stars. Not only did you carve out time for your own learning and your learning in 2022, but you really asked great questions and had great suggestions and comments. And I'm just deeply, deeply appreciative that you would spend time with me here today, whether it's your morning, your afternoon, your evening, wherever you are in the world. So as we draw to a close until we meet again in February, I say this again because I get so many questions on it. If you want the PowerPoint, the audio recording, the time-stamped video so that you can forward or go backward to any particular part of today, you do need to be a member. So that link is in the chat. I'll put those links in there again. Also, please, as soon as we end, take 2 minutes and send the invitation to 2 or 3 of your friends or colleagues. I would really, really appreciate if you found value here today. I appreciate your help in building our community. There's also a Roundtable Facebook group, so you can keep in touch throughout the month before and after we meet. That link is in the chat. Also, I would love, always love to get your feedback. And there's 2 ways to do that. There's the regular Roundtable feedback survey. And there's also, this is brand new, a survey that will change every month and where I'm picking your brain on learning. So I'm designing some brand new things and I would really love your input. And for both of those surveys, they're very short. And for both of them, you get a chance to win a free Life Lenses assessment. So please do take a couple of minutes and fill in both of those surveys. If you are a UN staff, you can go la, 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 if you're not a UN staff. But if you are and you want to get, if you want to have this count towards your UN mandated training, make sure you fill in the attendance sheet today and mark your calendars, folks. February 17th, we'll be back with a workshop on tech tools for learning. So once again, if you want to get all of the PowerPoint, the audio recording, all that kind of things, you do need to be a member. And if you would like more information, potentially having a workshop for your particular team on team building, on tech tools or digital engagement and training trainers, please don't hesitate to contact me. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you. On the count of 3, I would invite you to unmute and say goodbye to everyone and maybe send them a wish for the week or the weekend. So on the count of 3, unmute and say goodbye to everyone. 1, 2, 3, go ahead.
Au revoir.
Bye.
Thank you. Wish you all a good weekend.
Bon week-end.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah, if it is I know some of you might have already started your weekend, depending on where you are in the world. Once again, I just want to say thank you, and please stay well, stay safe, stay creative, and stay learning. Thanks, everyone. Hope to see you next month, February 17th.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.